we have our very own Julian Alcazar, Director of Workforce Development here at HHF. Julian has demonstrated a track record in leveraging technology for banking regulations, consumer finance, education, and payments, leveraging extensive experience in service-focused organizations like the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, the Federal Reserve Board, and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the Hispanic Heritage Foundation, and the U.S. Office of Personnel Management and the U.S. Department of Education. Take it away, Julian.
Thank you, Jessica. And how about we say another bravo to Kenny and Rodney? That was amazing. I definitely took some tidbits that I will include in my own resume. So how do you prepare for an interview? So you carefully examine the type of job you're going for, first of all, and why your specific skill sets match it, right? And then consider why you are interviewing and your qualifications. Perform research on the company, right? So at this point, your interviewer expects you to know something about the company you're applying for and the type of role you're applying for. So in addition, research any products, services that the company has already done. So you could bring that up during the interview itself and why your skill sets match the job role. Then consider your answer to common questions. Common questions are often, why do you want to work here? What interests you about this role? And what are your greatest strengths? Conduct mock interviews. So if you have a trusted friend, advisor, as Ronnie and Kenny have stated before, conduct mock interviews. This will help you get your nerves out and get more comfortable in front of new people that are going to be interviewing you for this role. You've made it in front of the interviewer. That is half the battle, right? Here, you could practice your speaking voice, your body language, right? It's all these different cues that are going to demonstrate to the interviewer how comfortable you are in a new space, your tonality, and again, your body language. Do you carry yourself confidently? Are you nervous? The interviewer will understand that you will be nervous, but also will your nerves overpower you? And prepare thoughtful questions for the interviewers. And so examples of a thoughtful question for the interviewer is, what does a typical day look like for a person in this position? Why do you enjoy working here? So if I was interviewing with Rodney or Kenny, I would ask them, why do you enjoy working at Facebook? What drives you? What qualities do your most successful employees have? And so this could give you an idea of, do I have those qualities? And you could use what they say and position yourself. So if the interviewer is asking, we are looking for someone with recruitment experience, highly motivated, you could dig back into your resume bank and say, I am a motivated individual and I could fit these needs with these qualities. And then you will cap it off with, what are your next steps in the hiring process? Because you want to understand what's happening. And then you want to sell yourself at the end of the day. Make a note of your skills that relate to the role and think of how your experiences and abilities can contribute to the overall goals of the department, of the company, why you are a good culture fit for the company as well. If you have metrics or stats that you could demonstrate verbally in front of the interviewer, this is the time to bring it up. So that way someone has already visually seen it on your resume, and now they could hear it directly from you. And this is your opportunity to elaborate and showcase a little bit more of, hey, I recruited 300 Latinx engineers from the top 10 universities. And this is your opportunity in front of the interviewer to say, this is how I recruited. And these are the relationships that I bring to the table in this recruitment facilitation. And as Rodney and Kenny have mentioned already, do a follow-up. And this time you're going to do a follow-up to the person that interviewed you. Sometimes they will provide you with a business card. So definitely take the business card. Or if they don't, ask them for their email. Some interviewers will provide you with their emails, others won't, just for confidentiality reasons. But don't be afraid to reach back out to the recruiter and let them know that you appreciated the interviewer's time. And so definitely in the email follow-up to the person that interviewed you, this is your opportunity to show that you listened. So if the interviewer said anything specific that stood out to you, be sure to jot that down and bring it back up in the email. So if the interviewer asked or mentioned, oh, I saw that Oculus is going to come out with a new VR game. This is your opportunity to do some research on your own and bring it up in your follow-up email to the interviewer. Hey, you mentioned this during the interview. This is what I found. And these are my 2 cents on the specific thing. In the second paragraph, note the company's name as well as the conversation points and goals that seemed especially important to the person you spoke with. Connect that point to your experiences and interests. And in your final paragraph, invite them to ask you any additional questions. Close by saying you're looking forward to hearing back, that you're looking forward to being a part of the team, and that you are looking forward to achieving things together. And it's okay to not know an answer to the question. So if the interviewer throws you a curveball that you weren't ready for, it's okay to say, you know what, I do not know the answer to this question, but let me get back to you. Let me do some research on my own, and I will provide you with that answer at a later time. And ask, what is an appropriate time frame for an answer back? Do they expect an answer back within 24 hours or 48 hours? And those are my tidbits for preparing yourself for the interview.
Thank you so much, Julian. And thank you so much for your wonderful tips, recapping for everyone online, to make sure you conduct mock interviews ahead of time to kind of get the nerves out of the way, and ask questions to your interviewers as well, just as much as they're interviewing you for the position, you're also, scoping if that's a good place for you to work at as well. So up next, we have our Q&A session. We will be answering questions that are under the Q&A window. Please input your questions under the window for the opportunity to have it answered live. And our first question we have here is, what tips do you have for someone recently out of college with little relevant experience? How would that translate on an interview, and what is best to showcase, right?
So for recent grads, the interviewer knows that you're a recent grad. And so this is your opportunity to connect any of the relevant coursework that you've done. And so you took a public policy class on payment issues. And so this is your opportunity to showcase your research abilities and your ability to connect it to the role itself. So if you're interviewing for a payment specialist role and the interview focuses on payments and you did a research project in college on payments, connect it and show your thought process. At the end of the day, the interviewer wants to know that you listened and that you were able to execute on a specific task or project. As Kenny and Rodney mentioned in their section, skills can be taught. It's really what the interviewer wants to see is your thought process, and your ability to connect the dots.
Thank you, Julian. Julian, we have another question for you. From Monica, we have, if we had an interview and we haven't heard back from them over a month, can we reach out? And how, give me 1 second. Haven't heard back from them over a month. And how can we do that the best way possible? Does that mean that we didn't get the job, or should we still ask?
Going to be sometimes common not to hear back. Folks are adjusting to the new normal, and also understand the type of organization that you are applying to. And so if you are applying to a federal agency, the interview process is long, the hiring process is long, and it takes a while. I could give you my own personal example. It took, from start to finish, 4 months. And that's a long time to be in limbo. But there is nothing wrong with reaching back out to the recruiter, the interviewer, and say, hey, I am still very interested in this role. Is there anything that I can elaborate on or be of help with? That shows that you are still interested, that you are committed to the company, and that you are eager to start.
Thank you so much. Julian, we have a question for you from Diego. I have been with the company for almost 17 years, on the verge of getting laid off, furlough. Do not know yet. I am 48 years old, trying to start again. Don't know where to start. Any advice?
I could definitely dive deeper into this if we want to do one-on-one to provide more direct advice and how I could specifically. At the moment, what you want to showcase is that you've been committed to the company for the last 17 years, core set of skills that you could bring to a new company, and that you could be a value add. At the end of the day, again, people want to know that you are a talented individual that is committed to the mission of the organization itself.
Do you have any tips for interviewing with an anxiety disorder?
So definitely, so this is where the mock interview is critical, because that will help get you more comfortable interviewing. And when we ask friends to interview us, there is an existing relationship there that will make the interview less formal. And so what you want to do is, this is where you lean on your mentors and people that outside of your regular comfort zone that could then pepper you with questions that are very hard hitting, because that will again help you lose some of that anxiety. But it is okay to be nervous. If you lose yourself in the middle of an answer, ask for a moment. Say, let me start over. Take a deep breath, count to 3, and then start again from the top. And bring it back home to that question.
If I could weigh in here really quickly, Jessica, I do think that there are breathing exercises that I'd be glad to pass on, that my wife is very much into meditating for taking on something that could cause anxiety. And there are some very quick ways, whether you're taking a test, whether you're doing an interview, whether you're preparing for a big project, that really fall in that space of very simple breathing exercises and focusing and envisioning what you ultimately want to get out of it, that I'd be glad to pass on if you just make a note of that, and we can post it to everyone here, including links to mindfulness websites and podcasts and guided meditations and everything that help you calm down before an anxious moment.
And thank you all for joining us that tuned in and stayed throughout the workshop series today. Please make sure to join us tomorrow. It is the final workshop, and it'll be focused on a virtual board. We will have several companies sharing current career opportunities. Make sure to tune in at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and see you all tomorrow. Thank you.